Okay, let's keep going then. So let's practice a bit by looking at certain points, explicit points. For instance, okay, let's say we wanted to plot these points. I mean, they're already plotted, but let's see how you would plot them. So for 1, 2, for instance, right, what we would do, we would locate 1 on the x-axis, right? We found 1, as you can see. 1 is on the x-axis, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to go up 2 units. Now, why is that? Because we want to plot the point 1, 2. We're seeing how we do that. So we go up 1 unit, 2 units, and we're there. Okay, that's where we are. Again, we located 1 on the x-axis, and we went up 2 units to get to 1, 2. For 2, 1, if we wanted to plot that instead, right, we would have to go to the right, we would have to locate 2 on the x-axis. In other words, we go to the right 2 units, and now we would have to go up 1 unit, okay? We would have to go up 1 unit, not a half a unit, 1 unit, okay? Oh, sorry, there we go. That's what we would have to do. Okay, good, good. And now what about this point that I'm moving now? Well, for this point, -3, -1, they were in the wrong spot, but I just quickly moved them. Sorry about that. For -3, -1, okay? For -3, -1, right? Well, here we're going to locate -3 on the x-axis, okay? We locate it, as you can see. And we do that by actually going 3 units to the left, and then we would have to go down 1 unit. Why down? Because it's negative, that's why. And we went down 1 unit. You know, 1 is the absolute value of -1. Okay, so that's what happens here. Okay, so these 3 points are plotted. Again, this was up here. These 2 were in the wrong spot, but I just fixed them. I am sorry about that. Okay, all right. All right, so that's just examples of plotting points. Let me just get some terminology here. The point AB, right? When you have any point, the first number, we call that the x-coordinate of the point. The first number here, we call that the x-coordinate of the point. B, that's the y-coordinate of the point. So the first number is the x-coordinate. Again, the first number comes from the x-axis. B is the y-coordinate. That comes from the y-axis, right? You know, just like with these points. You know, 2, this 2 for this point is the x-coordinate. Came from the x-axis, as you can see. 1, right? The second number, that's the y-coordinate. See, 1 came from the y-axis. Like so. Okay. And 2 points, this is by definition, in the 2 ordered pairs of numbers, excuse me, they're equal. We say that they're equal, okay? And we write this exactly when their x-coordinates are the same and their y-coordinates are the same. So 2 points are the same exactly when their x-coordinates are the same and their y-coordinates are the same. Another way of saying that is 2 points in the plane, in the Cartesian plane, they're going to equal exactly when they coincide. You know, if you were to plot 2 different points, if you plot 2 points in the Cartesian plane, it's the same point exactly when they coincide. they overlap each other. One's directly on top of another. 2 points are equal. Okay, and we write this actually exactly when their x coordinates are the same and their y coordinates are the same. Okay, good. All right, good. Are there any questions about that? All right. Also, the order does matter here, actually, okay? Order does matter. Oh, excuse me. 2, 3 is not the same as 3, 2, for instance, right? You can see the x coordinates are not the same. Same thing with 1, 2, and 2, 1, right? How do we know they're not the same point? Well, because they don't overlap each other. They're not on top of each other, and we can see their x coordinates are not equal and their y coordinates are not equal. They're not on top of each other. They don't coincide. That's better. Okay. And this also is useful to, it's not really, well, yeah, this is useful to know also. The x coordinate, right? The first number, that tells you how far you are horizontally from the y-axis. How far horizontally you are. The y coordinate is your height relative to the x-axis. I mean, for instance, if we went to 2, 1, right? We first had to find 2 on the x-axis. But you can see that the point 2, 1 is 2 units away from the y-axis, right? 2, 1 is 2 units to the right from the y-axis. 2 units horizontally to the right. Its height above the x-axis, right? Its height above it is 1 unit. That's the y coordinate. So again, the 2 here, the x coordinate, that tells you how far you are horizontally from the y-axis, how far you are horizontally to the right or left, right? Y-axis, 1 unit, 2 units. For the y coordinate, that's our height, right? Relative to the x-axis, 1 unit up. Hope that makes sense. So again, this was just some terminology. There is a lot of important terminology in math in general. You may not think math has a lot of vocabulary, but it actually does. All right. Okay. So here's some more examples. Let's plot these points now, okay? Let's plot these. Okay, so from here, from -3, 0, what do we do? Well, here we have to go 3 units to the left. We locate -3 on the x-axis, right? The x-axis is always horizontal. So we go 3 units to the left. We locate -3, that is, which is over here. But since the y coordinate is 0, we're not going to move up or down at all. We're staying on the axis, on the x-axis. We go 0 units up. So we stay where we are. For the next point, 2, -1, right? Well, we have to find 2 on the x-axis, 2 units to the right. But now we go down 1 unit because the y coordinate is -1. So we're down here. -1, -1, right? You go 1, you locate -1, excuse me, on the x-axis. Then you go down 1 unit, like so. Okay. So we get here. So this is just another example of plotting points. Okay. All right. Now, this is something else also I wanted to point out. It will make it easier when we go through the distance formula. Well, it's also good to know in general that 2 points, they have the same y coordinate exactly when they are on the same horizontal line. I tried to illustrate that here, okay, although it's a little lower than it should be. Let me see if I can fix that. See if I can fix that. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't want to mess with it too much. I guess that's good enough. It's a little bit, I know this point should be a little bit further down, but I think it's okay for now. Hopefully you still see what I'm trying to say. But basically 2 points, they're going to have the same y coordinate exactly when, okay, exactly when they're on the same horizontal line. Okay? They're on the same. I mean, you would expect that though, because the y coordinate is your height, how far away you are vertically from the y-axis. Excuse me, from the x-axis, right? Your height relative to the x-axis. Okay? So if they have the same y-coordinate, they're the same height. So yeah, there's going to be you can draw a horizontal line connecting them. 2 points have the same x-coordinate though, exactly when they're on the same vertical line. They're on the same vertical line. I mean, you could also just plot a few points and you could see, oh yeah, that makes sense. It just takes a little visualization. It's really not that bad though. Like 1, 2, and 1, 0. I know 1, 0 should be a little bit lower, but hopefully you still get the idea though. They're on the same vertical line. All right. Good. Okay. All right. Let me get to the recording.